I called the police on a teen stealing a $3 sandwich to teach him a lesson. He was hungry, not criminal. Now the community is boycotting my store. My boss is furious, and I can't sleep, knowing I chose rules over mercy. Hey everyone, I honestly didn't think something like this would blow up the way it has, but I need to know if I'm losing my mind here, or if people have just gotten way too soft. I work as an assistant manager at a convenience store in my town. It's part of a bigger franchise, so we follow set policies, but it's basically me running the place most days because my manager is checked out and the other employees are teenagers who spend more time staring at their phones than actually doing their jobs. I've been there for 11 years. I'm the one who actually keeps the place in order. We've had a shoplifting problem for a while now. Nothing major, but small stuff adds up. Sandwiches, candy, sodas, stuff people think is no big deal. But when you're the one closing up and doing inventory, and you see the numbers not matching up day after day, you start to notice how much is walking out the door. I'm the only one who takes it seriously. Everyone else brushes it off like it's inevitable. A few days ago, I was covering a midday shift because someone called in sick again. It was around 1 p.m. Not super busy, but there were a decent amount of customers. While I was restocking by the coolers, I saw a kid, maybe 15 or 16, come in alone. I didn't recognize him, but we get a lot of kids from the nearby high school during lunch. I kept an eye on him because he was wandering without really picking anything up. Sure enough, I watched him grab one of the pre-made sandwiches from the cooler, look around, and tuck it under his hoodie. I've dealt with this before. Usually people say, "Why didn't you just talk to him?" But that never works. If you confront them, they bolt. If you wait, they slip past. I've learned that the only way to handle it is to lock the doors and call the police right away. So that's what I did. We have a button behind the counter that locks the front door. I pressed it, picked up the phone, and told dispatch there was a theft in progress. I know some people think that's extreme, but I'm tired of being the only one who enforces anything. When the other customers saw what was happening, I told them, "Just wait a moment. A crime is in progress." I said it loudly because frankly, I wanted people to know I'm not afraid to handle these things. Some looked uncomfortable, but others stayed quiet. The boy froze when he realized the doors were locked. He started panicking, pacing near the exit. I didn't touch him or anything, but I stood between him and the door. The police station is only about 5 minutes away, so they got there quickly. 2 officers came in, talked to him, and asked him to empty his hoodie. He pulled the sandwich out. He was crying by this point, saying he was hungry. While this is happening, his older sister shows up, maybe early 20s. She's yelling immediately, asking why there are cops for a sandwich. She says they're waiting for their food stamps to reload and that he hadn't eaten since yesterday. I don't know if that's true or not, but either way, that doesn't mean you get to steal. I told her very plainly, then don't come in here if you can't afford it. The officers basically decided to give him a warning because of his age. I didn't argue with them because at least there's now a record if he does it again. But when they were leaving, she was still yelling, and I told her as she was walking out, maybe try working harder instead of teaching your brother to steal. She flipped me off in the parking lot. Apparently someone recorded that part on their phone. Later that night, I made a post in a local Facebook group about it, explaining what happened and saying that people need to stop excusing bad behavior. I said something like, "This is what happens when no one wants to follow the rules anymore. I'm tired of people acting like shoplifting is okay because it's small. It adds up. And if nobody draws the line disappears." I went to sleep feeling like I'd actually done something right for once. But then the backlash started. By the next afternoon, there was a handwritten sign taped to the front door of the store that said, "The sandwich which works here, shop elsewhere." At first, I laughed it off. Probably the sister or some high schoolers, but then regulars stopped coming in. People who I'd see every morning for years just disappeared. I overheard someone at the gas pumps telling another customer not to support that woman who called the cops on a hungry kid. My boss called me in the next day. He's usually hands-off, but he was furious. He said corporate got multiple complaints about my behavior and that the video of me yelling in the parking lot is getting shared around town. He said I should have handled it differently and shown some compassion. I told him flat out that if he wants to run a store where people can just steal with no consequences, then that's his problem, but I'm not going to stand by and do nothing. He said I embarrassed the store. The part that really gets me is that this isn't the first time I've had to step up like this. A while back, I called the police on a 10-year-old who opened a bag of chips before paying. Everyone made a big deal out of it, but you either pay for something or you don't. Another time, there was a homeless man sitting outside for hours, making customers uncomfortable. I called the police then too. If I hadn't, No one would have done anything. Now suddenly, I'm the villain. My coworkers are useless. One of them told me they would have just let him go. Another said I went too far, locking the doors. They don't get it. If you give people an inch, they'll take a mile. That's why shoplifting is so bad lately, because everyone keeps making excuses. My boss told me to lay low, but how am I supposed to do that when my own community is turning on me? I drove through the neighborhood this morning and saw someone had chalked "Sandwich Witch" on the sidewalk outside the store, like I'm some kind of monster for not letting a kid steal. Am I missing something here, or has everyone just lost their minds? Update 1. Hey everyone. So I wanted to post an update. The last post got some attention locally, but now the situation has completely exploded. Since my original post about the $3 sandwich, the community has basically turned against me. A Facebook group popped up called No Sandwich Witch, and people are sharing the story, posting videos of me yelling at the teen and his sister and encouraging everyone to boycott the store. Foot traffic has dropped dramatically. Regulars who I've seen for years aren't coming in anymore. The store feels dead during hours that used to be busy. My boss is furious. He called me in again and told me I'm creating a toxic environment and that the videos are making the franchise look bad. I told him I don't care how it looks, that the store needs boundaries and rules, and that someone has to enforce them. He sighed and said, "You can't antagonize the neighborhood like this." I snapped back that I'm defending company property and teaching accountability. He didn't have much of a response after that. Meanwhile, I've tried to make my presence known. I've started standing outside during my lunch breaks with a homemade sign that says, "Thieves not welcome." People are walking past and some have the nerve to laugh. One mom with 3 kids walked by without coming in, and I told her she should teach her kids to respect property. I waved my arms and shouted so everyone could hear. Someone filmed it, and now that video is also being shared in the boycott group. It's not just the sandwich incident coming back to bite me. People are digging into my past and sharing everything. For example, a single dad in town, they're saying I called CPS on him because he left his 8-year-old in the store for a minute while he paid at the pump. I genuinely thought the kid could get hurt or wander off. He probably deserved a warning, but CPS got involved because apparently people nowadays overreact. A teenager, I followed him home once because I suspected him of stealing gum. Turns out he didn't take anything, but I saw the kid in the store with his friends and didn't recognize him. I was just trying to prevent theft. A youth soccer fundraiser, I filed a noise complaint because the organizers didn't have a permit for music outside. The town shut them down. I thought it was a safety issue and that the neighbors needed peace. Now people are saying I'm petty. All of this is being posted publicly. Neighbors I've lived near for over a decade are sharing stories, some saying I'm a long-term menace. One neighbor even posted pictures of signs I've put up warning kids not to steal. Apparently, it looks threatening to people online. My own kids are embarrassed. My daughter refuses to be dropped off by me at the store. She said people know who I am and that she doesn't want to be associated with the Sandwich Witch. I didn't think that would bother her, but I guess it does. I tried to fight back in what I thought was a reasonable way. I tried organizing a counter boycott, asking people to support law-abiding citizens and the store. I printed flyers, made a post online, and even asked a few people in the neighborhood to help. Only 2 people showed up. My next-door neighbor, who's just as unpleasant as me, and a guy who walks around town with conspiracy signs. No one else came. The trolling online has gotten worse. People are commenting all sorts of things, mocking the sandwich incident and calling me names. I don't get why everyone is so outraged over $3. We're running a business here, and people have to follow rules. I can't just let kids steal and call it youth hunger problems. That sets a bad precedent. I've had to double down at the store because people have started testing me. Teens walk in acting like they don't know the rules, and I follow them around. One kid tried to hide a soda in his backpack. I called him out and made him put it back. Some people record me now, but honestly, I don't care. If I'm going to enforce the rules, people need to know someone is paying attention. My boss warned me again today. He said I'm making the store a public spectacle, and that corporate is tracking these videos. I told him if corporate doesn't like it, maybe they need stricter policies on theft. He didn't respond. It's been exhausting. Update 2. The last post made it clear that people were upset about the sandwich incident, but now it's officially out of control. A few days ago, I received a legal notice. The teen's older sister has filed a civil suit for emotional distress and defamation because of what happened in the store and the things I said while the police were there. The notice made it clear that the corporate legal team won't be covering me, and I'm on my own. I was shocked and furious. I literally thought they would back me up. I called the corporate office and they told me, This isn't covered. You acted outside policy. I told them they were traitors and that they should be protecting employees who enforce rules. They hung up. The court date came up fast, and I decided to represent myself. I felt like I had to stand my ground, and besides, how hard could it be? The first hearing was a disaster. I started talking about the decline of discipline in today's youth and how participation trophy culture is ruining morals. The judge told me to stop editorializing and focus on the facts. I did try to focus on the facts, but it felt like everyone in that room was against me. The teen's sister had a lawyer, of course, and she looked calm and collected while I was standing there, talking about morality like it was a courtroom drama. While all that was going on, I decided to take action in the community. I made flyers with the teen's name, calling him a thief in bold letters, and posted them around the neighborhood. I thought people had the right to know who was stealing from local businesses. Of course, this is apparently a privacy violation, and the sister filed an injunction against me. I got a temporary restraining order served. I didn't think it would come to that. I just wanted to protect other store owners from getting ripped off. Things got worse one night when I found my car vandalized. Sandwich Witch was spray painted on the side. I called the police, and the officer who showed up looked exhausted. I tried explaining the context, saying it had to be the teen's family or some of their friends, and he just nodded and took the report. I can't even drive to work without feeling like I'm being targeted. Then, someone started sending prank deliveries to my house. At first it was small things, a sandwich delivered with glitter all over it, a random soda. Then it escalated to dog poop in my mailbox and more glitter. I know people are laughing and thinking it's funny, but it feels like harassment. I am literally the victim here, and yet nobody sees it that way. The store put me on unpaid leave after receiving multiple complaints from neighbors and community leaders. I went to the parking lot screaming about how ridiculous it was and threatening to sue everyone who was harassing me. Someone recorded it, of course, and it's now going around town online. It feels like every time I try to defend myself, people just make it worse. Update 3. Hey everyone. So it's been a few months since the last update. First, the civil case is in full swing and I'm losing badly. Representing myself was a mistake, but I genuinely thought I could handle it. I figured it was a simple case of the facts. I saw a kid steal a sandwich, I called the police, and I had every right to defend my store. But the sister's lawyer is competent, well-prepared, and aggressive. Pictures of my flyers and the posts I made online have all been entered as evidence. The judge keeps saying things like, "This is harassment and you're endangering a minor," which I think is totally unfair. They're taking everything out of context. I never imagined that posting a flyer about a thief would be considered illegal, but apparently in today's world, telling the truth is punishable. The personal side of this is crushing. My teenage daughter has moved in with her dad. She said she can't deal with the bullying anymore. I tried explaining that it's not bullying. It's me defending the truth and standing up for rules, but she doesn't see it that way. I think she's been influenced by the community's smear campaign. I called it parental alienation, but really, I think she just doesn't understand how important it is to enforce boundaries. The fact that my own child won't even be dropped off at the store is humiliating, but she thinks she's protecting herself from public embarrassment. Meanwhile, the boycott group online is thriving. People are sharing more stories about me, things I did years ago that had nothing to do with this sandwich incident. Somehow it all comes back to this one little event, and I'm being painted as some sort of villain in the community. Then there's the HOA. They fined me for posting my flyers on community property, which I thought was completely fair because people had a right to know, but apparently it's illegal. I refused to pay, and now they're threatening a lien on my house. I went to the HOA meeting to explain my side, and I called the president a Nazi. Someone filmed it, of course, and it went viral again locally. I tried to sue the HOA for emotional distress caused by their fines and by the public shaming, but the court threw it out immediately. The system is clearly rigged against people who try to enforce rules. Things at the store have also hit rock bottom. A former co-worker posted anonymously online about my behavior, how I would search customers' bags without consent, yell at delivery drivers, and even accidentally pepper spray a regular because I thought his sunglasses case was a weapon. I don't think those incidents are that big of a deal. They were misunderstandings, but now it's all coming back to haunt me. People are calling me the Sandwich Witch openly, and it's affecting everything. My boss finally had no choice but to terminate me officially. I tried threatening to expose corruption at the company, but I had nothing to back it up. I even tried applying at other nearby stores, but I was recognized immediately and rejected. It's humiliating, and I feel like I can't get a fresh start anywhere. Legally, I'm in trouble too. Between the restraining orders, civil suit, and fines from the HOA, I'm looking at thousands of dollars in expenses. I can't work at the store anymore, and even if I wanted to, no one in the area will hire me. I feel trapped. I've been trying to keep my head above water, but it's impossible when everyone is actively working to ruin you because they disagree with your interpretation of morality. At this point, it's not just the store or the community, it's my life. Everything I built feels like it's crumbling. I can't even drive through town without feeling judged. Social media posts keep spreading, and every time I see them, I feel like I'm being crushed by the weight of everyone's disapproval. I still believe I acted correctly, but nobody else seems to see it that way. Final update. Hey everyone, so this is my last post about everything that's happened with the whole sandwich incident. I've tried to keep updating because I thought maybe people would finally see that I was just trying to enforce rules, but at this point, there's nothing left. My life has completely collapsed, and the more I think about it, the more I can't sleep because of all the chaos that followed a $3 sandwich. The civil case ended a few weeks ago, and I lost. The judge ruled in the sister's favor and awarded her damages. Some of it came out of my own pocket. I keep thinking about how this started with a kid who took one sandwich and how now I'm facing thousands of dollars in costs. I still don't understand how standing up for rules turned into this. From my perspective, I was just doing my job, protecting the store, and teaching a lesson. But the judge seemed to side completely with them. According to the court, posting flyers with the teen's name, calling him a thief publicly, and refusing to let him leave the store without police involvement counted as harassment. I still think they're taking everything out of context. After the ruling, I couldn't stay in my house. Between the civil damages, unpaid HOA fines, and the liens they threatened because of my flyers, I lost my home. I'm now renting a tiny place in another town. The rent barely covers anything, and honestly, I can't go anywhere locally without someone recognizing me as the sandwich witch. It's exhausting. People glare, whisper, or outright yell at me when I try to walk past them. I've always believed that enforcing rules is the right thing to do, but apparently, standing up for common sense is enough to make an entire town despise you. The community has moved on without me. The old store where all of this started is now a community-run food pantry and youth center. They named it the Sandwich Stand as a joke about me, and honestly, it stings every time I drive past. People are happy there, volunteering, helping kids, and nobody asks for permission or rules like I did. I thought I was protecting the neighborhood, but somehow my enforcement of discipline is now considered harmful. Socially, I have nothing left. My kid barely talked to me. My daughter is living with her father. Friends I had for years have blocked me, and neighbors actively avoid me. Even random people I used to see at the store will stop in their tracks if they see me. It's humiliating, but I still feel like I was right, even if everyone else disagrees. Professionally, it's over. No other stores will hire me. Anywhere I try to apply, people immediately recognize my face from local news or social media posts, and the applications are rejected. I thought I could start fresh somewhere, but that's impossible. I'm unemployable in this area because of the reputation I supposedly have, and honestly, I don't know how I'm going to rebuild. The harassment hasn't stopped either. I still get prank food deliveries, glitter bombs, and even dog poop in my mailbox occasionally. People are filming me in public and posting videos online. At this point, it feels like the town has made me a permanent target. I called the police multiple times, but they've clearly stopped taking my complaints seriously. I still insist that someone should be held accountable, but there's nobody left who cares. I did try to fight back in some ways. I attempted to sue the HOA for emotional distress from their fines and from the community's treatment, but the case was thrown out immediately. I thought I had a valid point about how my property was being infringed on, but the court didn't agree. At one meeting, I called the HOA president a Nazi because of the way they handled the fines and threats. Someone filmed that, and yes, it went viral locally yet again. I keep thinking I'm standing up for myself, but everywhere I turn, I'm the villain. So yeah. This is me signing off for good. Reddit. Everyone who watched this saga, I'm leaving because the trolls never stop, the community won't forgive, and honestly, no one respects rules anymore. Thanks to anyone who read all the updates and tried to understand my side. I'm not going to post anymore. The town won, and apparently, being a stickler for rules makes you the enemy in today's world. I still believe in enforcing boundaries, but I guess I'll have to do it somewhere else, far away from here.